I'm Maddie.
I'm Amber. And we're Witches Talking Tarot.
We are the weirdos in this one.
Like a song, like a sailor snubble. Flip the switch and let the cauldron bubble. Sam.
Wow.
Hi, everyone. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Amber.
And we're
Witches Talking Tarot.
And today we're going to be introducing the suit of wands. We're going to be talking all about that passion, that fire, that drive. Wands is not my favorite. I'm going to be honest. It's not my favorite too. I think I like cups best, honestly, which is what we did previously. Check it out.
The only thing that bothers me about wands is when I think about wands, I think air.
I also
so it's really hard for me to remember the appropriate connotation for both the wands and the swords because I know I didn't write tarot. I know it's not up to me, but I still fucking.
Well, no, I imagine wands as a whole, like not just in tarot, but as a whole with the tool as being associated with air, because you're using it to use that energy, and that energy goes up into the air. I don't know. That's just how it comes to me. So.
And so and it's funny because I get how swords is air, right? It it slices through that which is imperceivable, right? But like wands and fire just does not mesh in my brain. It doesn't mesh.
I don't get it either. That's part of why I'm not a big fan of it. Also, it's not that I'm not a big fan, it's just part of why they're not my favorite. My favorite is definitely cups and coins, which I realize are more well, no, that's not true. Cups and coins are my favorite, or cups and pentacles are my favorite. You
cups
know,
and coins,
emotions and materialistic items. I guess I don't know. That's very ground,
the here and now and the emotional.
Yes.
Like I just before we get into it, I know that wands not only represents fire, but it represents south in a reading as well as summer. I'm pretty sure. Wands. See, because of the fire association, that's where the south and the summer come into play, right? Because like as we discussed with cups, go listen to that because I don't remember because I was focusing on wands.
Right.
So that's season 3, not at the end. Like you'll have to go a couple. Just listen to all of season 3 and you'll get to it.
So the thing about motherfucker. The thing about wands is it's all about. It's got that fiery energy, passion, personality,
personal things like your personal drive, not the things you think about, the things that drive you. Right, what gets you going, what your passion, what lights your fire, so to speak. So in that Ace of Wands, we've got new beginnings of starting a new project that we're passionate about.
A project, a new job.
Right. My baby. Like I've seen the Ace of Wands describe something as like working on your baby. So it can also represent a pregnancy.
It can absolutely represent a pregnancy. I mean, wands is very phallic in shape, I guess. I don't know.
Sorry, I'm just
every time I hear the Ace of Wands.
Maybe the last time I conceived, I got the Ace of Wands and was like, absolutely
well, the
not.
Ace of Wands
this
is usually like a wand being held up. Now, I've seen the modern tarot decks where it's a sex toy wand. Right. Love it. You know what I mean? But it can also be a male's wand. So it's got that. Wands do have that phallic sexual energy, that masculine.
But again, that fire, it goes hand in hand, just like cups has a feminine energy. Yes. Whereas wands have a masculine energy because fire and masculinity, they go hand in hand from their specific properties. We're not talking about like specific gender binaries. Like, please don't misunderstand. Our use of the word masculine is to describe the energy itself.
Yes.
Which could apply to a man or a woman or anybody who identifies as non-binary. I mean, the energy itself is masculine, not like the person that's getting the card. Does that make sense?
The spiritual aspect is masculine, not the like gender. Like, yes,
So we just don't want anybody to like be like feel like they're not included. This is the cards themselves hold energy, and that's what we're talking about. In case this is your first time with us here at Witches Talking Tarot, in which case Thanks for joining. You have 3 full seasons to get through
I
after
did
you
not
listen to this.
bring my deck. I
Just
should
kidding, I
have,
didn't.
because usually
Well, I
we
mean,
go
yeah.
through it. But
Well,
like,
I mean, the 2 of Wands is next because, oh, yeah, we're not doing that work on a Saturday.
so the 2 of
Bullshit.
Wands is
The go card.
yes,
It is a card of
yes.
action. It's a card of
Mhm.
movement. It's a card of adventure.
It could be a
taking
card
off.
of travel as well.
Like, honestly, if it follows the Fool in a
Mhm.
reading, portends good things.
yes,
Because it is the go card. It's all about movement, right?
Mhm. Personal goals.
Right. It's that moving forward. Whereas the 3 of Wands, it really it talks about like the
delay
return of
almost.
dividends or a delay, like because you put something out there and then it takes time to get back to you.
Yes.
However, in the 3 of Wands, if it's upright, that thing that's coming back to you is going to come back with dividends. It's going to come back better. It's, like when the wave rolls out and it's tiny and then it comes back into the shore and it's like frothing with like
Progress
movement.
and
Yes.
expansion.
Yes. And then we've got the 4 of Wands, which is a celebrate. Like the 4 of Wands is the one that I remember the easiest and at the same time have the hardest time with, because most like traditional or non-traditional decks, quite often they represent a 4-pegged celebratory awning, right? And that's actually from a Jewish celebration.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like when I was like really learning about tarot, I discovered that like that's where that imagery for that card comes from. It's a traditional Jewish celebration, and the card itself is all about celebrating like one's successes, celebrating like a work.
Well,
thing.
and the what is this? This is the 4 of Wands. The 4 of Wands is almost to the middle of the wands, right? Suit, because there's 10 in each suit, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're almost to that middle. So maybe we're not celebrating the whole.
Right. No,
we're
this is
celebrating
like
where we are. Personal success. We're not. We haven't reached it yet, but we're.
It's a good card.
Yes. Taking the time to celebrate where we are now and how we got there.
Yes.
The next card.
It's followed by the 5 of Wands, which is definitely not one of my favorites.
No, I think this is the one more needing to reorganize, some conflict, some disagreements.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So like,
so it's like, it's we get to a point where something great happens and then everybody is full of themselves.
Yes.
And so now in this next step, it's like I always think of it. I love that you said a needing to reorganize, because that is my mental keyword for the 5 of Wands. It's really all about like whether you have to reorganize yourself, you have to reorganize how you're working with a group of people, you have to reorganize the fact that you're doing it all on your own and you need to be working with a group of people. It's a card about personal growth.
It's okay to celebrate what you've achieved so far. However, don't think that is the end of the
exactly,
because we're just in the middle.
Right. Yes. Even though the next card is also a very positive celebratory card.
It is. So I think
it's the success card.
It's the success card. It's the progress card, which most of these cards are.
Right. And but that makes sense because fire grows. Fire feeds on things.
Right. Well, and you need to take that second to reorganize, to regroup, to figure it out so that you can continue to move forward. So we're not just stuck in that 4 of Wands,
like
situation.
Feeling like we won everything. And that makes sense because the Wands is constantly moving because it is fire. And if you think about fire, the element, put it on a piece of paper. It consumes and it grows and it feeds and it gets bigger as it feeds on things. Yes. And if it stops growing, it immediately dies because of the way Wands works. And so we go from the 4, this personal small success, to the 5 of really needing to still grow. Then we're at the 6 where, because we grew more in the 5 of Wands space, we allowed ourselves to consume this knowledge, consume this ability to work with others or whatever the case might be. So now we've gained even more success because fire really is like, there's a lot more positive kind of cards. I don't want to say positive or negative. There's a better word for it, but like there's a lot more like movement that's not you're fucked. I don't know how to say this. Like I don't know
totally get you, but it's also very a humbling suit, I'm realizing, because the 7 of Wands is Mother Trucker. What is it? I just saw. It's a not a
needing for self-confidence.
Yes, it's
itself,
challenge, competition,
overcoming
protection,
obstacles.
and perseverance. Yes.
So
to me, it's a humbling suit because while we're moving forward and we're doing
every time we have a success, we run into something else, and that is truly the way the universe fucking
it really
works.
is. And it's not necessarily
oh my God,
a negative thing. It's not really
fire is constantly feeding on everything. I'm sorry, I just had that mental,
it's
and I have to share.
It's not negative that you're constantly
but that's the way the universe works.
Right.
Like I recently told you, like I had come to this conclusion about things because like every time something gets better, like 5 different things get worse, and it's like the universe just constantly presents us with trials and tribulations, and based on the way we respond to those trials and tribulations determines us as an individual, the more thing like what next comes at us, that kind of thing. And I feel like this suit of fire, this suit of wands is really kind of a very good illustration of just that, because you know, in 7, like in the 6, we had a success. We had a small success at 4, we had more growth at 5, we had a bigger success at 6. And now we have even more growth in the 7 of wands space.
Right, which is why it's so humbling. And the thing we need to remember about fire is it has to be fed. If fire is not fed and it's, let's say, runs into dirt, the fire
peters out. But it also has to be controlled, because if it's not controlled, it engulfs everything. And when it no longer has anything to consume, it will still peter out, but there'll be nothing left for you.
Exactly. So it's as every time.
Damn, sometimes I'm so insightful. No, just
every time we do these tarot, I love them. I do. And it's like not things that I didn't know before. It's just putting it all together.
Right, exactly. And that's why I wanted to do them this way, because like once I realized that they all just kind
tell
of
its story,
like it blew my motherfucking mind. And I don't think, just like, you know, when we talked about yoga at the end of season 3, we talk about how like yoga is this whole mind, body, spirit thing, right? It's this whole world and ball and globe and whatever, right? It's not just a thing. But here to us in America, it's presented to us as athleticism or working out, right? And tarot, again, tarot is this whole globe of a thing. It's this whole encompassing body and spirit of a thing. But sometimes people just focus on it as like, oh, it's fortune telling. But the whole thing, it's a journey, and we're going through the journey. And once we get through the obstacles in 7 of wands, we move into the 8 of wands, which I feel like the 8 of wands is not one of my favorite cards. Like I love the 8 of swords, but the 8 of wands, isn't that like fighting and like overcoming people that are against you?
If it's reversed.
If it's reversed.
No, if it's not reversed, it's movement, fast-paced change.
Oh, right. It's it's the news from afar, possibly. Like you might be having like, and in this global economy, like that is very possible at any given moment. Okay. So it's funny because it goes so well, like the 8 of cups. We were just talking about that in the last episode with Ed October. He got the 8 of cups, which is it's change, it's moving forward on a new path. But the 8 of wands change, is it overcoming obstacles, or only when it's reversed is it overcoming obstacles change?
So it's definitely,
because this is not a card I know that well.
Overcoming, I know. I didn't bring my deck, so I got the app open, but it is overcoming obstacles. However, when it's reversed, it's delays because of obstacles.
Okay.
So that's how that goes hand in hand. You know what I mean? So it is the overcoming obstacles. But
it's like it's the after effects. So we overcame obstacles in 7, and now like we've overcome these obstacles, and we have to find a new way to move forward because like we had a plan, and now that plan's fucked.
Yes.
Which brings us to the 9 of wands, which is
resilience.
I'm
sorry.
No, you're
like I knew exactly what you're gonna say.
Not a bad card.
No, it's all about perseverance, persistence, and resilience, tests of faith, and boundaries, which makes sense because we just went through all that.
Right.
shit,
But we didn't
right?
learn everything, because when we get to the 10 of Wands, we're taking too much on ourselves. Like,
Yeah.
we have to learn to delegate. We have to learn to let people help us,
Mhm.
because when we're trying to go up the fucking side of the hill with 10 wands on our back.
I love the 10 of Wands. I think it's one of my favorite ones to pull in a reading, not for myself, but
Yeah.
for other people, because it is saying, okay, so we're going on this goal, we're going forward, we've dealt with all this shit, and now it's becoming too much to handle on your own. It's the burden card. It's usually represented by somebody carrying a bunch of sticks or a bunch of staffs or wands or whatever. And they're just
it's overloading. Yeah, like,
it's like we're getting tired. We've won some, we've lost some. Now we're just tired. Is it even worth it anymore? Type vibe. And that's where it's like, it's okay to ask for help. You can't do everything on your own.
Yeah, no, and I mean, it's a card. It is very humbling, like you said earlier.
Right.
It is a humbling card, because it's like, you're doing great. Yeah, you're doing great. You can't carry that all on your own.
Right.
It's not your load to bear.
And it's not necessarily
your load to carry.
It's not even necessarily somebody else putting this load on you.
It can be us.
More you taking on the load that you don't need.
Like, I just had somebody tell me last night that, like, it sounds like I am taking a lot onto myself that I shouldn't. And it's from an emotional perspective, like the discussion, but that can apply here.
No,
just
absolutely.
as much, because
it's not just physical.
We burden ourselves with things that, when we insist that there's blame to be given, it has to go somewhere. So if we don't have anywhere else to assign it, we often assign it to ourselves, and we unnecessarily burden ourselves and bring ourselves down with things that it doesn't have to be. And this card says, like, let the load down.
Yeah. Or share the load.
Right.
It's okay to ask for help. Again, a very humbling card. Now the Page of Wands is next. And I think that this is so important with the 10 of Wands, because this is all about inspiration, ideas, potential, and a free spirit. You have to free yourself.
Yes. And it's about that fire burning within. You have to let it burn. It has to be a controlled burn, so it doesn't burn you out. But you've got to feed that fire so it keeps going, because otherwise we get all dampened and dead inside.
Yes, exactly.
You know? And the Page is really at that stage of learning this, because then you're going to move into the Knight of Wands, who is one. I love this card, because the Knight of Wands is all about this momentum, this forward, passionate momentum, but it's not necessarily in line with your goals.
Yeah, it's impulsiveness.
Exactly. Like in my deck, it's Tom Bombadil. It was where the first card that we drew in our reading last episode.
I think impulsiveness goes really well with that, because it's like, yeah, we're going squirrel.
But we're going over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I'll join you on your quest. Just come with me here. And it's like, not exactly, you know, and when it's reversed, it has a lot of icky connotations, honestly, with that impulsiveness, like kind of ruining your life. But upright, it's still fire that has been set in a field.
Now the reverse version, or the negative version, would be haste, scattered energy, frustration, probably because you're focusing on something else. You know, it's kind of taking you that opposite direction. So just be careful. It's almost a warning card of impulsiveness, and just remember, in that previous card we had to reorganize. Keep that organization. Don't
let the Knight of Wands carry you away, because you will get lost in the flames. That's like the
perfect.
bottom. Yeah. And then the Queen, I love the Queen of Wands. Like, bitch is full of fire, like, for one. But the Queen of Wands, she is the passionate, powerful, feminine energy of getting shit done.
Determination, confidence, independence.
The better words for what I just said.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. It's feminine energy that has come into their power. They're confident, they have courage, they're independent, they're determined.
I'm a boss bitch, baby.
They have made it through this journey. You know,
they ruled their domain with their controlled flame.
They learned the lessons.
Yes, they are Ripley.
It ain't a controlled flame; it's a fucking dragon. Like,
well, no, it's Ripley with the fucking flamethrower. Now I need
Yes.
an aliens deck. Oh, please, God, let there be an aliens tarot deck.
I know. I'm
Ripley
like, wait,
with
hold
her
on.
flamethrower as the Queen of Wands is fucking perfect because it's
Yeah.
it's hot, it's
No, that's
destructive,
awesome.
but it's controlled, right?
Yeah, no, I love that. I
That
love that.
like I know Daenerys is
No,
she's-
you
is
say
it, you
yeah.
know?
I think it's Daenerys.
Yeah,
in
so
my
like
Game
I
of
get
Thrones
that,
deck.
but like I see Ripley with that, and it's like it's kind of perfect.
I know. I'm over here like there's so much imagery that could go hand in hand with the Queen of Wands.
Yeah,
truthfully.
truthfully, yeah,
Like,
these
I
all
love
work.
that.
Yeah, I love that too.
And
And
then
then
we
we've got
have
the
the King
king.
of Wands, and this is the masculine version of the Queen, natural born leader and entrepreneur, and they have a lot to do with honor.
Right. Because if you
um,
remember, as we go through this stage, right, like we're going through the whole suit of fire, right?
Mhm.
And so each step of the way, we gain more control
Mhm.
over the flame. We gain more knowledge about the way the flame burns and about how to feed it properly and what it will consume. So by the time we reach the level of king,
Mhm.
we have a controlled
Right.
fire that warms the home.
Well,
and
we have the
bakes the
wisdom
bread.
of how we got there.
Right, because we have the
Mhm.
controlled fire, so we don't
Yes.
burn the house down,
Mhm.
but we get all the benefits of the flame, and it nurtures us and feeds us and gives us the life-giving ash at the end of the day.
Mhm. In my Thrones deck, it's represented by Ned Stark, and I didn't like
love
that.
Ned
I didn't
Stark.
like that him as the King of Wands at first, but now having done this episode and gone completely through, it makes so much sense. He's a great leader. He's honorable Ned Stark, and he has control over the North without being a tyrant.
Right.
He has learned
can
through
control
experience.
the passion.
Yes.
He doesn't let the emotion win.
Yes.
He doesn't let
But he is emotional.
Right, exactly.
But he's found that perfect balance between honor, family, duty, and honor. You know what I mean? So like so
that
I
is
do
so perfect.
I do like now that I know like have had this whole conversation, because before I was like, what the fuck, this makes no sense. Now I'm like, no, it makes total sense. I
Because
don't think anybody else could be represented.
Yeah, because like the King of Wands he's the nurturing fire. He's the fire in the hearth. Like he is the flame that cares for versus destroys.
Yes, exactly.
And it makes a lot of sense.
It does. Do you know who it is in your?
I don't actually. I was just wishing like I knew off the top of my
head. Because I Ned Stark
remember like
is the fatherly figure that is very stern but comforting and emotional and not afraid to show. So he has just learned all through that experience, and I do love that. I love that, and I'm very curious on what.
I'm like I'm gonna find it real quick.
Does it go as I'm sure it goes as well as the Ned Stark being him, but I'm just curious because when we did a reading previously, check out last episode. We talked about him. King of not King of Cups.
No,
Knight.
Aomir as the Knight of
him
Swords
versus Jamie, and it just went hand in hand. So I'm so curious on who. And we're talking King of Wands.
Yeah, like I've seen like all the other kings. Like what the fuck?
What the hell? It's like just go. It's like hidden, dude.
Right. And like I'm afraid that like I don't want to rush and then like drop them everywhere and make it worse. Yes.
That's ace. Watch it be the only card fucking missing or something.
Watch it be the last card.
I would die, dude.
No, it's not okay. But he's way back here. Did I pass him? Like, what the fuck? Are you like, is he not in here? Well, King of Wands. So I'm looking for the King of Wands. Dude, if my King of Wands is missing, I will be pissed.
Yeah, what the fuck? It's like,
here he is. He's Treehorn.
I love that. I do love that.
Tree. No,
Bjorn. No,
Tree.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, like his name just. Yeah, he's the leader of the Ents.
Yes.
Treebeard.
Is that it? Maybe. I don't know. I think
His
him and
name
Ned
just
Stark
popped out
go
of my
really
head,
well
but yes,
together, because they're
because
both
he wouldn't-
leaders.
Right, they are both leaders, and they're just and fair leaders. Because remember,
Yes.
he won't just join this fight because the hobbits want them to kill the bad guys. But then when they see how bad for the world, they're like, "Oh no!"
Which
this
is the
can't
North
stand.
in
Yeah,
general. The
exactly.
North didn't want to, at least in like House of Dragon right now, they don't want to just join this war. You know what I
Right,
mean? But then they see there is no other choice but to join. So they have that wisdom, that knowledge that comes with being an honorable leader.
Exactly. And being a fair leader, like not being, you're a passionate little hobbit that's sitting in my branches.
Right.
And I killed that one guy that was annoying me because he kept stabbing my feet with his little, trying to eat you. But I'm not just going to get involved in the problems of men because you guys are fucking crazy. But then when he sees, and he's like, oh, hell no. And he calls the Ents, and he like, without the Ents being involved, like I guarantee Middle Earth would have fallen.
I think the decks that they have
really
more in common than we really thought, because
especially when you look at the
story and how it yes.
So I'm curious what you guys think about the story that tarot tells. Have you listened to the journey through the major arcana with us in seasons, I think 1 and 2?
We need to just set like a playlist. I don't know how to do this, but it's like the journey through tarot.
Yeah,
and then it's like
I'll look
in
at,
order.
I mean,
you
in
know
YouTube, I know we can. I don't know if we can on the podcast platform.
I don't know, because I'm just like, if we did that, then they could follow through the story.
Well, and I always, with these ones, I always try to have like tarot very heavily. So if you search like tarot on our feed, like you should get all of them. But definitely on YouTube, I'm sure there's a way to put them in a playlist. Outside of that, I don't know. But we've taken you through the journey of the major arcana, and we've gotten through cups. Now we've gotten through wands.
So what would you say would be next? Would it be coins or swords?
Well, I think it just depends on what reading we couple it with, because I do like making, because like we just gave a tarot reading to a jack-o'-lantern, so fire
makes total sense, right?
Yeah,
so yeah, I think you're right. I'm excited to do coins. I can't lie. I love coins, but I like swords too. Swords is more of a in my opinion, rougher suit, a more blunt suit. You know what I mean? Because you've got the whole like.
See, I feel like Earth is very. I think the coins, pentacles, Earth is very blunt, but that's because it's down to earth.
But we'll figure it out when we tell the story.
That's my favorite one. I'm excited for that.
Because I'm just like, we've got the Queen of Swords. She can be a real bitch, but not all the time. She can be a very powerful, strong woman that's portrayed as a bitch. But
you know what? It makes sense for swords to be kind of rough because
you have to have that edge.
Well, that too, but it's air, it's the analytical, it's the mind, it's the logic. Logic doesn't have emotion.
Right. Well, and
logic
money
tells you the story. And
with the coins, money, materialistic items, they can appear kind of rough and tough.
Right. Because like when you don't have anything seems,
I'm excited to talk about the 5 of coins now, because that's one of my favorite ones. Too. I love that one.
That like the coins is my favorite.
I do like them. Yeah, because is it the 6 of coins? That's like,
6 of coins is the generosity card.
Yeah, I love that one. But the wish come true generosity card, I love that. We won't get too into those because spoiler alert, we haven't made it there in the story. Yeah. But I tarot episodes.
I just love the way they flow so well, because like once you start talking, it makes sense that the next card that's coming makes sense, and it makes more sense, and it makes more sense.
It's the journey of life.
It is. It really is. It truly is. I think that's a great way to end this episode. So go ahead and do the things.
Hey, Melissa.
Hey, Death by DVD.
Hey, Pam.
Hey, Victoria. Thank you for being our patron. We really appreciate your support. And if you guys want to support us for as little as $6 per month, you can find us at patreon.com/Witches Talking Tarot.
We're also on Instagram, Threads, and Facebook at Witches Talking Tarot.
And we're on the X at Classiest Witches, because we are the classiest witches you know.
Thanks for sitting with us for a spell. I really love.
I love this. Yeah, like this was fucking great.
I'm Maddie.
I'm Amber. And we're Witches Talking Tarot.
We are the weird optimistic.
Like a song, like a Santa's snubble. Flip the switch and let the cauldron bubble. Sam.
Wow.